Welcome to the Transportation Sales Tax Program, also known as Roadwise. I'm Cheryl Harleston. There are a lot of things that Charleston County is doing right now as it regards education for youngsters and, of course, building roads and bridges so that we can drive safely through our community. Today we're going to be looking at a wonderful program that encourages young people to enter into the thousands of careers in transportation that are available to them, especially if they will go on to colleges like the Citadel. And that's where we are here at the Citadel. And we're going to be talking to individuals that are going to give you a view of what's going on to teach young people math and science through something called Lego. We'll be right back.
Hey, Charleston County, let's recycle. Charleston County makes it easy. Recycling glass, aluminum cans, steel and aerosol cans, plastics 1 to 7. We recycle them all. And don't forget paper. If it tears, recycle it. Even cardboard. Recycle at work, at home, and at play. So whether you're using the 2 curbside bin system and separating or the all-in-one roll cart system, keep recycling. Brought to you by Charleston County Environmental Management.
There are lots of activities going on here at the Citadel, indoor and outdoor. We're going to start inside and take a look at the Legos and the parents and also speak with one of our council people. I think you're going to find all of those activities, including building a bridge with popsicle sticks. You're going to find that very interesting, so let's go. Interviewing Colleen Condon, who is with Charleston County Council, and she understands about what this means to have young people involved in career information on engineering. It's absolutely necessary, and there's so many jobs, literally thousands of jobs in transportation. And we ran into her while she is attending this event for young people across the community, and her son is here as well. But let's find out what she thinks about all of this. Is this something that I guess you would consider very worthwhile for youngsters interested in engineering?
Absolutely. When we look at the job possibilities in Charleston County in the future, between Boeing, the Curie facility, we need kids who understand science, because these are the jobs that are going to be the best jobs that we have available in Charleston County in the future. And so having opportunities for them to build bridges to get tested today and have Lego robotics competitions, this is exactly what we want to be encouraging. Not just the handful of kids like we did when I was kids. It was the few kids who did this kind of thing. We need to be encouraging most of our children to get involved in these kind of scientific activities.
Besides your son being a part of this, I know you have a personal interest in what these young people are doing.
Absolutely. It's when you look at what we're doing in the future, we've got to make sure we're creating a great environment for our kids to have the best opportunities.
What did you see here today? What sort of reactions did you see in the faces of young people as they participated in all of this?
You know, our youth sports are important, and certainly watching kids on a soccer field or a football field is great and invigorating. These are kids who have different interests. They might also be an athlete, but they're specifically coming in here using their minds to compete. And these robots that they've programmed, they've gone and figured out, for example, some of these robots use light sensors to detect white versus gray, to know when to push these golf balls into the hole. So they're really learning to challenge each other. We're watching them program, and they're really getting an opportunity to compete in a way that's a little different, and I think is terrific.
Well, you ought to know you're a part of the Transportation Sales Tax Program as a member of County Council. And so what does that mean for the future of the Transportation Sales Tax Program? It's supposed to go well into 2000, and we're supposed to raise about $1.3 billion or something in that area. What does that mean in terms of these young people who are getting ready for the jobs on building those roads and bridges that you're putting the money aside for?
When this program's we're stretching out to 2025 and beyond, we're talking about some of these very kids being the ones who are designing the roads of the future.
And the Citadel started all of this, or where did it come from?
Well, the Citadel is great to be one of the hosts. Certainly, I hope we'll see even more robotics competitions in the Charleston community, and they're one of 2 of the big ones throughout the year here.
I see a lot of parents here as well that seem to be encouraging their young people. They know that these kids can do what they have to do to prepare, because you've got to go to college and take all the courses. How do you feel as a mother to have your child involved in a project like this?
Well, if you look around and see the participants here, it's now becoming science is cool. While it wasn't always necessarily so cool when we were kids, people have now realized that computers and programming and building bridges are really going to be our future. And it's terrific to see so many kids who are getting involved in this. Here we have 6th through 9th graders involved in the robotics competition, and then we have older kids who are building bridges and outside doing trebuchets. So it's a little bit of all sorts of the coolness of science.
Do you think some of these young folks will get some of that transportation sales tax money in the future?
I look forward to seeing them wear Roadwise hats in the future.
Thank you. This is an awesome, awesome program that you have going on here today. How long have you been doing this? At various places or just the Citadel? How has it worked?
Well, you wouldn't know it seeing these students in action, but this is our first year. We're what we call newbies. We're new to this, but they've learned so much in a short period of time. We started out doing the first Lego League, robotic league, back in September, and they competed a competition then. And we just regrouped about 5 weeks ago to plan and prepare for this event.
What's the ultimate goal here?
What's the ultimate goal? Well, the kids think the ultimate goal is to win this competition. What they don't know is they're learning at the same time.
And this has something to do with transportation in the future, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The implications are limitless. So we're going to have automobiles in the future that will drive themselves, and it's going to be these students that are programming them and making it happen.
Young people being exposed at this level is important to what this world's going to look like in the future. The infrastructure, roads, bridges, streets, resurfacing, all that kind of thing is just falling apart all over the place, not just in Charleston County. Doesn't that mean that to you and to those of you who have helped organize this? Are you aware that the infrastructure needs work?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a citizen here in Charleston. I'm aware of the needs. And so that's why we've got to prepare the next generation of engineers who are going to tackle those needs and pave the way for us in the future.
Are you excited about today's event?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
I heard you're in the, you're almost winning there.
Mm-hmm.
You're the runner-up?
Yep.
Or are you going to be a winner?
I'm going to be a winner if I can, but I'll be fine if I lose.
Well, you have a great attitude, and we appreciate you. Why a Lego? Why are you using Legos? Why not something else? Maybe cars that are put together with popsicle sticks?
That's a really great question. Why Legos? Because we all grew up with Legos. We built tall towers and structures, but now we get to make these Legos move. And they move and accomplish a task we want. But what's really cool about Legos, while we're building and playing with Legos, we're learning math and science skills. We're learning teamwork. I've got students that have been introverted and drawn into themselves, but they have to work with other people to plan and program these robots to work. So it builds their math and science skills. They get to have fun, and they learn to work with other people.
Let me ask the gentleman here, do you feel that using Legos is a good way to help young people understand how transportation can possibly become a part of our society in the future?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it a good foundation to learn for math and science and that kind of thing?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
So what's it doing for you? Are you feeling that you're going to be better in that area of study or those areas of study once you've experienced the Legos?
It's helping me really decide about my path as an engineer, because I would like to be an engineer when I grow up. So I'm still deciding, but Legos are helping me. I might want to be an electrical engineer or something else.
What are you doing here today? Are you truly interested in engineering, and do you think this is a good way to teach you?
Yes, because I am a great mathematician, and and my dad wants me to be an engineer, so I am really excited to be here.
And you realize that there are all sorts of courses that you'll have to take at college and the rest, and you're ready for that someday?
Yes, ma'am.
Boy, was this an experience today. You were building a bridge out of popsicle sticks? Why?
Came build the bridge out of popsicle stick to see which one weighed the most and was the lightest.
What does this mean? Do you think that you would go into engineering and eventually build real bridges?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that something that's your goal too?
Yes, ma'am.
What would you like to do when you're of college age and grown up?
Oh, I would like to come here so I could start building more things and get more experience.
Do you think this is a good start for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Trying to get children, young people interested in engineering, do you think this is one of the best ways to do it?
Oh, absolutely. on-hands type of projects are the way to do this. Getting them involved, getting them excited. You can just watch what's happening around here, and these young people are excited when their bridges collapse, when they see the robotics going on, when they see the trebuchet competition. They are excited, and we're hoping this will direct them in the area of engineering.
Now, the exercise they're going through right now, I noticed that there's it looks like a stick bridge, I guess, and then there's this bucket on the end, and he's pouring. What is he doing?
What he's doing here is loading the bridge. He is applying sand in here, and that is applying a force to the bridge. And what we're hoping to do is to measure the weight of the bridge as well as the weight that he carries and divide the weight of the bridge into the weight of the sand and find out how efficient the bridge is.
Now, are you trying to help them also to understand that bridges carry lots of weight in the real world? And is this sand supposed to take the place or replicate that?
That is absolutely correct. That is what we're trying to show them, is that engineering has a very serious purpose in the real world, and bridges is one of the main types of items that they would do as structural engineers. For example, the Cooper River Bridge and also the Wando Bridge on 526 is a prime example of that.
How long has this program been going on, especially with the Legos and the building the bridges and having young people participate in an event like this?
Well over 10 years.
And you're getting engineer students out of all of this? Or are you getting the interest that you want from these students?
We are improving the interest, but we still have to work harder in improving the interest of underrepresented people, for example, minorities and especially women. We do not have enough women in the field, and we need to work harder to make sure we have a diversified employment group.
You know, I have a problem with math. So does that mean I should not have, which I didn't, enter into the field of engineering?
That is a wonderful question. And if you talk to some people, the answer is no. But I will tell you that mathematics is a part of engineering. What is important is that you don't dislike mathematics. Engineers don't always do all this high-class mathematics, but the important part is that you don't dislike it, because if you dislike mathematics, engineering is a tough field to go into. So you don't have to be wonderful and great in mathematics. You just make sure you don't dislike. Two negatives there, but that is important.
Have you been watching the transportation sales tax program and the roads and bridges that are going up, the resurfacing and all of that?
Oh, yes.
What do you think? You know, our infrastructure really is in a great deal of trouble, not only here in South Carolina and Charleston County, but all over the country. So we need more people to work in this area. And what do you think of the program thus far, the transportation sales tax?
We need it. That is for sure. I think that the present direction and the infrastructure is important. If this country is going to compete at a global level, we must have an infrastructure that will provide industry with the necessary roads, bridges, sanitation, water resources, you name it, we need it. And I think that President Obama's direction in this is absolutely correct.
Thank you for talking with us today. And will this happen again next year?
It is our fondest hope. It's been happening for over 10 years. We expect it to continue.
Is there any way to follow these students and to find out whether or not, in fact, they've gone into engineering?
That is a very difficult thing to do because we lose track of them so fast. All we can do is measure the national record of how we are improving, again, underrepresented people, minorities, and women, and seeing if we're improving on that. If we're doing that, then I think as a nation we're doing the right thing.
And you are seeing those numbers go up with...
We are seeing the numbers go up, but nowhere near as fast as I would like to see it go.
What courses do you have to take in a college to get into engineering anyway?
To get into engineering, you have to take mathematics courses, science courses, you take engineering courses. You also take a great deal of liberal arts courses. That comes as a disappointment to many of my students when they find out they have to take English and history and psychology. But an engineer has to be all-rounded. He or she cannot be narrow-minded because they have so many things that they have to do.
The biggest thing I guess you can get into once you're an engineer is becoming a PE, professional engineer, and that takes a little bit more schooling or a test. Are you familiar with that, and are you seeing many of our young folks go that far?
Yes, ma'am. I am very familiar.
And are they being exposed to this?
I am very familiar with that because I sit on the State Board of Registration of Professional Engineers. And so, yes, that is extremely important that they get when they graduate, they get their Fundamentals of Engineering examination. Then they spend 4 years getting practical experience. Then they come back and take Part B, which is the professional part of the engineering examination. And then they become licensed at that point.
What kind of person is required here to go through all of that, especially to the point of the PE, the professional engineer? Is there a lot of studying and courses and hard work and things that discourage your young people, or does it go fairly quickly?
What you named is correct. It's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of discipline, it's a lot of focus. But it's doable. And so these students, especially at the Citadel, balance not only the engineering component, which is arguably the hardest discipline on campus, but they also balance the military component.
What would you say to parents about preparing their youngsters for this field of engineering?
Expose them to the area of engineering, and don't discourage them at a young age. And this is especially true of women representative type students. We need to encourage them to go into the field because by the time they reach high school, they start thinking about going in other directions, which is just wrong.
What's the signal for the right child? Is it the child who has good math skills or science skills or both, or what?
Motivation. Yeah, motivation.
Awesome.
Quite frankly, if it was left to science and math skills, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you in high school because I didn't have them in high school. It is motivation. Young people here have so much capabilities far exceeding their abilities, and what we have to do is spend more time motivating, and this is the purpose of this, is to motivate them because they have so much talent to give. And if we don't motivate them in the direction, we're not going to be successful at all with these young people.
What kind of machine is this? What does it have to do with engineering? And will this help young people, which is what this is all about today, become interested in the field of engineering?
Absolutely, ma'am. And there's actually a lot that we could say about this subject. As electrical engineering students, this is a great way for us to get a chance to test the things that we've learned in the course of our degrees. This is a complex system. There's some mechanical engineering component and